Arctic Star Exploration, operated by a team of proven mine finders, is focused on diamonds in Finland and the Northwest Territories of Canada. Work programs are underway in Finland and Canada. Arctic Star trades on the TSX Venture Exchange symbol ADD, on Frankfurt symbol 82A1, and the OTCQB symbol ASDZF. Please visit our website arcticstar.ca or call us at 604-689-1799.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Hilliard MacBeth, author of the second edition of the book, When the Bubble Burst, Surviving the Canadian Real Estate Crash. He's also a portfolio manager and financial advisor in Edmonton. Welcome back to the show, Hilliard.
Nice to be on the show.
Hilliard, were you shocked to find out that there are no federal police officers in British Columbia investigating money laundering in the province that's known worldwide as the place to go launder your money?
Yes, I think it's pretty shocking. I know that the RCMP maybe doesn't get the funding that would allow it to put a lot of resources into those files, and I also know that money laundering investigations have a reputation for being extremely difficult and time-consuming, and in the end, it's difficult to get convictions. But given the amount of this going on, obviously, allegedly, in Vancouver, and across Canada, for that matter, Toronto as well, it's pretty surprising that there's nothing, no money being reserved. Now, when they asked the current government about that, they blamed it on the previous Conservative government for cutting back the funding. So, but it's just, goes to reinforce the view from outside of Canada that Canada is an easy target when it comes to a place to launder your money, and that's not a reputation we, as Canadians, I don't think we want to have that as part of our world reputation.
Well, the U.S., of course, pointing the finger at Canada now, saying we're an official money laundering nation. But the U.S. is also in the top 5 list of places to launder money. Any place where you have casinos, you're going to have big money coming in.
Yeah, and casinos are only a small part of it, actually. The bigger part of it, of course, is real estate, because the problem with casinos is you can do thousands of dollars, but you can't do millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in casinos. Very difficult. So for the smaller items, casinos are used a lot, and I'm sure there's ways to go to Macau or Vegas or possibly casinos in Canada as well and launder money. But I think the number one in dollar volume would be real estate, and it's not just Canada. Of course, U.S. was singled out by Transparency International as one of the top destinations for money laundering as well. So, and real estate's extremely attractive because once you can get one property, you can then mortgage it, buy more properties, you can pay off the mortgage, you can lever it up with more debt financing, and the potential is pretty much unlimited with real estate. And one of the things that I think people haven't realized yet is that if they pay a premium to the going rate on, say, a home in West Van that was listed for $3 million and it's bought for $4 million, they don't care, because the whole purpose is to place the money, and a 33%, in that case, that example, 33% premium is really nothing when you're trying to place the money. And once you get it placed, then you can start the process of cleaning the money.
Yes, and so even if they sell that real estate at a loss, they've still cleaned up that money. And people, I don't think the average person realizes how much cash these drug dealers and other people in the illicit businesses have. I went to a news conference where the Mounties had stacked $2.5 million in cash up on a table, but it wasn't that big a pile. I was amazed at how little physical money $2.5 million is.
Yeah, the classic for that is, of course, the euro, because I don't think you can use euros in Vancouver, but the maximum size denomination in Canada and the U.S. is 100, but in the euro you can go to 500. So it's 5 times more in the euro. But yeah, there is a the problem with moving cash around though is it's got all kinds of potential for being detected. Whereas once you can get those monies into bank deposits, then it's just an electronic transfer. You just push a button and transfer the money from one account to the other, and you're home free. So that's the key. And of course, the government has passed laws, and there's an international cooperation agreement, anti-money laundering law, and terrorism financing. And there's an agency called FinTrack, and almost everybody in the system is required to report suspicious transactions. The investment people, the banking people, the notary publics, the realtors, all of those people are required to report or fill out a report if they notice anything suspicious. The one group that's exempt is the legal professionals are exempt from the requirement to report suspicious transactions. So all of those people were actually reporting every suspicious transaction. You could have the whole RCMP force busy investigating all these things. So I think it's partly a question of how much money people want to spend to follow up on all of the, and of course maybe not all those suspicious transactions are actually illegal. Somebody would have to do the investigation.
Well, if money laundering wasn't going on without the government's knowledge, how come they upped the betting limit from BC casinos from $10,000 to $100,000?
It's that part I don't know much about, but I had a couple of bad experiences in casinos, and I haven't gone back since. So it's amazing how fast you can lose money there. But yeah, it's I guess and the other thing that doesn't get mentioned very often is people don't realize when somebody's buying a West Van house in 2015, 2016 that probably was only worth $2 million, and they're paying $4 million for it. It tells the local speculators that prices are rising quickly, and so they get all excited, and so there's no money laundering aspect to the people that follow on with their speculations, but they've been excited and triggered by the money laundering transactions, and so they decide, oh, it's okay to pay $3.5 million for this property because that one sold for $4 million, and the next thing you know, it has the effect of causing prices to go up for a while. But I think that's over. I think West Van single-family home prices peaked in about July of 2016, and now we're almost 3 years later, and prices are lower and going lower still because, for one thing, I think the changes in the government rules have put a real damper on the suspicious activities, but also the regular speculative activity is probably completely died out. Well, although there will be people who say, gee, prices are down 20%, it's time to jump in and buy. So, but I don't know if they'll be financing at this point in the cycle.
The BC government has also brought in a new land registry rule where the beneficiary's name has to be listed. It can't be a numbered company.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing because that's an example of where in the financial system, whether it be a bank or an investment dealer where I work, we're all required to identify all of the beneficial owners of that numbered company. We can't just accept, as we have to see proof of who are the beneficial owners. Sometimes that's difficult to do, and sometimes it's impossible to do. And we're not allowed to open the account. So the fact that people are allowed to buy real estate with numbered companies without giving up the names of all the beneficial owners is a loophole, basically, and that's a loophole that needs to be closed. So I think credit is due to the government for trying to close that loophole. Again, I think the real estate is the best vehicle for money laundering because you can do large transactions, large amounts of money, and there are still some loopholes that where you can slide money through undetected.
Plus, who said you had to go and buy high-end properties in West Vancouver? How about moderately priced condominiums in other places like Burnaby or New Westminster or Surrey.
About it must have been 6 or 7 years ago, I heard from somebody in Toronto that people were buying like 20 condominiums in a brand new condominium on a pre-sale contract. I thought, that's ridiculous. Why would anybody buy 20 condominiums? But that was the pre-sale contracts are ideal for money laundering, because in the good times, now the good times are over now, but not that long ago, recently as probably a year ago, you could buy 20 or 30 of these pre-sales, then flip them before the closing date to somebody else, and prices are rising all the way along, and now your money's cleaned up, and you can maybe put that in something more permanent, or just leave it in the bank account. And so the pre-sale contract game, which I understand is starting to get pretty shaky, was an ideal method for trying to hide some money and move it around and clean it up.
We'll have more with Hilliard MacBeth right after this.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the pink symbol ABN-AF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, Recycling Trade Publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Hilliard MacBeth. Hilliard, Tesla, unbelievably, I think last month was the hottest selling vehicle in North America. Is that good news for the company, or is there kind of a dark lining to the silver cloud?
Well, it's interesting. The news, the headline news was great, but the stock market didn't like it. So the stock actually sold off down to $270 or even lower, 260 something for a while, which is way down from the peak, probably 6 months or 12 months ago. And it's got to do with the Model 3. So the Model 3 is the new one that's out. I even saw one in Hawaii on a holiday, which kind of surprised me. But they're cheaper. They start at allegedly they start at $35,000 US, but good luck getting one for $35,000 US. It's probably more like $45,000 by the time you add some of the options that you want to have. But that is becoming, even in Europe, they're selling them, in China as well, and it seems to be making a really big hit. The problem for the company, though, is that the much higher priced models, the first two models, the S and the X, the S being the regular luxury sedan and the X being the SUV, the big one with the falcon wings that open up, those sales are way down. So I think what's happening is people are opting for the 3, which is actually a really good car, seems to be very acceptable to people, and of course, the profit margin would be higher on the S and the X than it'll be on the 3. Tesla, by the way, is in the process of building a manufacturing facility in China to manufacture the batteries and the Model 3. And they're also looking at possibly expanding the facility in Nevada, which currently makes batteries, but eventually will probably start manufacturing cars. They haven't announced anything for Europe yet, but if the 3 it appears to be doing extremely well in Europe, they probably will announce a manufacturing plant there as well. So it's an amazing story, and now the risks are always there in terms of if there's a recession, there's a big slowdown in car sales. So that's part of the part of the reason why the 3 is the number 1 best-selling car, because the other cars aren't selling very well. But all of the cars, including the Tesla, will be hit if there's a recession, because people will just tend to not buy a new car for a while if they're worried about the economy. And it's probably that point in the cycle that we're at now. So that's the risk. But as far as demand, if the company can keep it together and financially continue to perform, it looks like they've got a really big winner on their hands.
And of course, Hilliard, you have a unique perspective on Tesla cars because your family has 2 of them.
Yeah, and the Model 3 got the update. So there's a new version of the Navigate by Autopilot, which, so first of all, going back 3 years, on the Autopilot, I don't know if they call it Autopilot or Auto Steer anyway, it's basically follows the lines on the highway. And it didn't, in the beginning, recognize where you were going. It just kept you between the white lines most of the time. You had to be prepared to take over in case it got confused with an exit or something like that, which it did occasionally at the very beginning. And then about a year ago, they introduced this Navigate by Autopilot, and that's a deal where you set in your, say you're going from Edmonton to Calgary, you set in Calgary as destination, and it now it knows where you're going, so it'll actually guide you on the freeway. It really only works on freeways and major highways, and when you get to the exit point, it'll take you off the exit. So the new update that just came out was it'll actually change lanes for you without asking you if you want to change lanes. So for a while it was please confirm lane change suggestion, and it would suggest that you change lanes. Sometimes the suggestions didn't really make a lot of sense to me, so I just ignored it. But anyway, but now it's going to do it without any input from the driver, and it's also, and I had this experience, we may have talked about this previously, where it actually guided me to the exit and exited the freeway, and then gave me back control of the car after it completed the off-ramp procedure. So it's they keep upgrading it, they keep changing it, and the only thing is sometimes they seem to give the Model 3 the update before they give the Model S the update. So my wife gets the update first before I do. I guess that's a price you have to pay for progress.
We'll have more with Hilliard MacBeth right after this.
Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp., RMO, on the TSX Venture Exchange. Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp. is a Canadian-based mineral exploration project generator. The company currently holds multiple property interests in Ontario with joint venture partners and is seeking further joint venture partners for other drill-ready properties in our portfolio. For more information, please visit our website at rmroyalty.com or call me at 604-922-2030.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Hilliard MacBeth. Hilliard, China says it's going to ban the mining of cryptocurrency because their economic policy is get rid of the stuff that's a drain on the economy. But there's also another reason you suspect that they're going to ban cryptocurrency mining.
Well, there's 2 aspects to this that come to mind. I don't really know what's going on with the Chinese government, but one aspect is similar to the Depression in the 1930s. When people put money into gold, they took money out of circulation in the economy. And so they banned the personal holding of gold. So you and me, we couldn't put our, in those days, $100 or $200 into gold because that money is basically removed from the banking system once we bought the gold. And they didn't want that. They wanted to keep the money circulating because there was a depression on. And that could be part of it with this. The other one is, again, I'm just speculating, is the tremendous electricity drain that cryptocurrency mining requires. So there's a tremendous amount of electricity, and it's getting so. As the idea of cryptocurrency was, the original Bitcoin anyway, was there was a limited amount that could be made. They had this complicated formula that you had to solve, and it took more and more computer power to solve the problem. As you got closer to the end, I think it was 22 million coins was the target. And so it used more and more electricity. I saw some ridiculous numbers in terms of the amount of electrical drain that it was causing on the system. And of course, a lot of the electricity in China is created by coal-fired plants. And so what was happening was the pollution was getting worse and worse in China. And now China is the leader in the world in terms of electric cars. They're producing 24 million cars a year, and a significant, well, not, a small percentage, but still a significant number, because they're the biggest car manufacturing country. 1 or 2 million, I'm not sure, I forget the exact number, is electric, and it's increasing rapidly because there's incentives for people to get electric cars. So as those electric cars plug into the system, they're going to require more electricity and start to compete with the cryptocurrency. So those could be two of the possibilities. The third possibility that comes to mind is that China's really clamping down on moving money out of China, and it may be that cryptocurrency is a loophole in terms of being able to get your money out of China. Maybe you can mine for cryptocurrency, get some in an account, and then transfer it out through that method. I don't know if you can do it that way, but that strikes me as a possible reason.
Hilliard,
a lot of yeah.
Hilliard, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Nice to talk to you, Jim.
My guest has been Hilliard MacBeth, author of the second edition of When the Bubble Burst, Surviving the Canadian Real Estate Crash. His website, macbethgroup.com. If you have any questions for Hilliard or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@housestreet.com, our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @HouseStreet. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on HouseStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HouseStreet.com radio is a production of House Street Media Incorporated.